Hello everybody, welcome back to my Satisfactory Let's Play, episode 6 I believe. And we're going to hopefully finish off this iron factory that I started in the last episode. Before starting the recording, all I did was a little bit of cosmetics. I've put the thing up on some concrete pillar legs so that it's not a floating platform. A few legs internally to support the higher level. I've also stuck some walls on there, not necessarily as an end aesthetic. I haven't decided what this will look like, and I'm probably gonna come up with a style that I'll use throughout most of my factories. I'm not the most creative of architectural designers. I'll come up with something that I'm happy with and then probably make it look the same in most places. I'm definitely a function over form kind of a person. One thing I will just quickly mention, inside the smelter floor, I just added 2 more rows on, ready for when we've got Mark III belts and can do 240 belts. So yeah, I've just basically duplicated from this point onwards, put another 2 lines of smelters down to give 16 total. And then up on this floor, I moved this line of mergers in. They were center lined here. I've put them so they're soft clipping, the same as the ones on the smelter floor, and it just gives a better walkway down this side of the factory once there's a wall on there. And then where I left the last episode, so that's a couple of things I've done off cam, nothing significant. Oh, there's the space moth. Oh, the big flying thingy, whatever it is. Pretty incongruous that something like that can fly, but... So where I left this off at the end of the last episode is that I put down these 2 assemblers, one for reinforced iron plates and one for modular frames. And then I realised as I got to the end of the episode that these are in the wrong place, because I want another 2 assemblers to do rotors, and it just makes the positioning of these a bit awkward. So I'm just going to get rid of everything related to the assemblers, and then we'll rebuild them in a better position once all the assemblers are done. We will... Let's get down there, it'd be easier to do this at ground level. We will look at powering this thing up. Can't quite power it up the way I want to, unfortunately, because I haven't got access to steel. I also haven't got access to roof boards or roof roofing items. So although this will end up a sealed roof building, at the minute I'm going to leave it open air until I get things unlocked. That one, and then finally that. And that should be us back to the point. Oh, hello. Oh, no. I shall probably have cut out where I jumped off the wall and had to run back. So this puts us back to the point. We've got rods on the bottom, plates on the top, and then 4 lots of screws coming out of here. So let's put back in an assembler. And we'll line it up straight off this line, or one of its inputs. So that'll be there and there. Yeah, that's all right. Plenty of room to move around it. I want to get this done as quickly as I can because I want to make a bit of progress. Mark II lift, and then I want the Mark II belt of plates coming straight in. Then I want one of the lots of screws, and I think I'll do another lift like so, and so we'll do the same principle as we did last time. By bringing it along in a straight line, back to, up to, and then that joins in quite nicely. And then that gets this one doing the alternate recipe for reinforced end plates. And I'll repeat, at the moment I'm not going to get 250 screws per minute because I have my belts are only capable of 120. That needs me to unlock steel, but that's the recipe I want this to run. And then I want output from this to be split. Is that on that center line? Yes. It's only going to produce 170. And I want another assembler. Just wants enough space. Turn it round. To bring a belt down the side and into there. Now that is not the right, that's not a straight line, so that's got to go back one. Down the middle without clipping, if you don't mind. And then that can go into there, and then we've got nice regular corners and shapes without clipping. And then the other thing is a set of screws into this side. I'm going to take these from here. I've got to get rods yet over to another set, so we'll worry about that in a sec. Back to, oh, what's going on with this side? Want that to line up to that, and then back to. That's better. So that's going to be 250 eventually, but this one only needs, for bolted frames, 140 screws. And what I've got to work out yet is what to do with the overflow of some of these. But for the minute, I'm overproducing, and that's fine. And then I want rods from here to a couple of assemblers that are going to do rotors, and I might as well line that up kind of symmetrical, so do them outside rather than making them tight fit, like so. So if these are going to do rotors, it's the vanilla rotor recipe, so they need 100 screws each. Plus rods, and I've got rods. So screws easy, they come from here. And I guess I can just do a splitter here. Let's just see how this works out. That needed to be Mark II belts. And that one can come across there, back to and in. So that's screws, and I've got a spare line of screws then that's currently not being used. And then I need to get, actually Mark I belt is fine. Because you can stack splitters. And then that won't auto connect there. So that's like showing the hologram of trying to put a belt in there. But if I get rid of this and then build it into an existing splitter, it connects without having to put a belt on. And then I just need to do that and somehow get rods in a neat way over to that. So there's one way of doing it is to do a floor hole there, get rid of that and the belt, put a conveyor top on there, reverse it so it's an input, and then put the rods into that. And then a conveyor floor here. Reverse it again so it's an output this time. Does that join up? No. So the conveyor floor wants to be over a bit. How far over? 1 or 2? Right, 1. Like that. And then if I do, I'll drop through for a minute. I can put a output that end and input that end, and then have a belt across this ceiling. No reason at all not to do that. Close that hole up. And it's just an option to make the floor above neater, as long as it doesn't interfere with anything that I'm building on this floor. I'll leave it like that for now. And then what I haven't got is anything consuming these outputs, but maybe I'll just put them into boxes for now. I'm going to want to merger. I don't know where I want the merger to go. For now, I'll just do it off the front and going out that way. Tricking me, isn't it? Looked like it was on a line. Different line though. Do it there. So we've got reinforced iron plates, modular frames, and rotors all coming from here. And I haven't yet worked out how I intend getting all of this back to main base. But what I'd like to do now is start powering things up. I also haven't unlocked yet Mark II poles. So I can only handle 4 connections to this pole. I might want to do something better than that. I have a feeling, I was thinking about it when I was editing this. I have a feeling that that may be what's locked behind the Caterium in the MAM, is the upgraded poles. So I'm just going to, although I said I had no reason to do it and it was going to complicate things, I'm just going to see what's on this pole, on this line underneath Caterium. Yeah, thought so. Mark II poles. So you just make them with Caterium wire. Now I haven't got much Caterium wire. But I've probably got enough just to make poles. Oh, that's the research. It doesn't tell you what it takes to make one.
New building unlocked.
So under power now, I've got a Mark II pole. Takes Caterium wire, 6 of, to make the pole, and then the usual rods and concrete. So that's not too bad, because I know I can go and manually get Caterium if I need to make poles, but That just gives me the option. And then the other thing is there is a Mark II wall outlet, which is equivalent. So I would need 4 for that. How many have I got? I've got 6. The reason I've got 6 is I chucked some rotors and things in there earlier while I was letting this just run in the background. Let's unlock the Mark IIs. Only leaves me with 2 coupons. So we need to think about powering this up. Now, part of my worry there is that I'm going to start approaching my capacity fairly quickly once I power this up. So I'm going to have to power it up in stages and keep myself within capacity. So I am going to put down, I'll start with a Mark II pole here. And then that can run both miners, and the miners can start. And then I'll do pole from my grid to here. And then that's convenient because it's gonna mean there's one wire I would need to remove if I was overdoing it. But that is now producing, and I think I clocked these at 200%, so they should be producing 120. And my consumption has just jumped up a little bit. My max consumption. Although my orange line is the one. Yeah, max is a bit of a funny one, isn't it? So I've got that. Now I need to think about how to power up the factory. I'm going to do double wall socket, and I'll call them Mark IIs for now. One there. One there. Connect them. And connect that one back to here. The miners are still going. Now, before I connect up the smelters, so at the minute, all that's happening is my bus is loading up. Before I connect the smelters, I like to always connect the output. It's a real shame. What you can't do, one of the things I'm struggling with here is you can't daisy chain these. So I can connect 2 of them together, but then I can't connect this onto another one. Whereas batteries and bio burners, you can daisy chain. I would love it if you could daisy chain. So I think what I need to do is put some Mark II poles. So Mark II pole can cope with 7 connections. So if I do a Mark II pole in the middle to service 5, and then another one in the middle to service these 5, and then another one and come over here to connect these, and then it's kind of all right. I'd rather do this off the ceiling, but I can't, so I'm gonna just suck it up. Let's have a single pole here, and then that pole can connect to the input. So now I have powered up these 2 outputs, and I'll do another pole over to this side to power up these 2. The wire is clipping a little bit, so that bothers me. I have a funny relationship with clipping. I don't mind soft clipping where the meshes don't interact, but I really don't like things that clip as hard clipping where the thing runs through as if it was somehow magic. It bothers me. So now I've got output powered up. We're going to go and do some smelters. suppose I should do, yeah, smelters. But I'm only going to do the original ones that I built in the last episode for power. I'm not going to power them all up. The power is internal on here for this line. And this is why I wanted a double wall socket from there. Can go to there for the middle, but wants to be a Mark II. I can get more onto it then. Then that Mark II can come to this line and equivalent here. And because I can't do a roof on the upper floor, that's why I'm using power poles, but I do prefer, what I actually prefer is to use beams, but I can't use them until I unlock steel beams. But I can now bring a connection from there. I'm just going to do the first two rows. So I'll put this in between there, and then connect that. I will put the next one in, but I won't connect it to the units. So this is just past there. So there, say. Wires clipping in a way I don't like, but that can go to that one. Now, why isn't that powered? I haven't selected the recipe. Well, I've done all of these. This is a sort of fault finding that you do once you start powering things up. And I always, well, sometimes, depends what I'm building. Sometimes I've done it again. Sometimes I'll power them up as I'm building them and watch things flow as it's building. But I kind of prefer the excitement of powering it up in one go, see if it works. So we need to take this will need to be a Mark II, and I want it on the same line as that one, which I can't see because of smoke. Where is it? Not there. There. It's on that line. So there, but middle. And then that one can do those two. That gets them working. Once it's connected to there. Of course they're symmetrical, so I can do those two as well. Not that one. Misclick. That one. So I'll check all of this, but those wires shouldn't be clipping now. They should look fine. And then same thing. Another one of these on this line. And then I should have that full pair of 120 lines being consumed by 8 smelters. And I should be able to see 8 green lights, which I can-ish, except for that yellow light. And the reason that's gone yellow is that its output is now full. No, it's not. No, it's being exhausted of input. Okay, fine. That's a thing that happens until the manifold balances itself. And Kip made a comment on the last video, so thank you for that, about the pros and cons of manifold. So this is a manifold, and I did the same thing on coal. This is a manifold pattern, which basically means that they will get full when they're full, but it's not an even split. And at the end of the chain down here, same as we did with the coal, these belts will be starved until all the other belts back up, and then eventually all of the belts will be backed up and it'll be fine. The alternative is that you use splitters to exactly balance. You load balance the input to the number of outputs you need, and you get an exact split right from the first items that come through the input feed. I kind of like both for different situations, but I'm quite happy to use manifold for something like this where I want scalability. Right. We've got, let's have a look at my power consumption. We're still well within. So let's now start connecting up some constructors. Our max consumption just jumped up quite a lot there. And then these constructors, there's a double line of them, so we'll have to do more poles. And again, it'd be a lot neater if I could just do this off a ceiling. Maybe I'll just put a ceiling through the middle of here to make this a bit more manageable, rather than trying to force poles in all over the place. And then I can always replace that and rewire this if I need to. We've started to see some rods coming through, so we'll get some rods coming into here. Yep. And we should also see plates coming into here. Yep. So now we've got to power up the screws. What I might do is so I'm going to put the power, it's on this line, so I'll put the start of the feed there. And then we're going to jump on top of these. I'm going to use these as a walkway. So I'm going to want, I can only do 7. So let's do each group of 4. So I want that as a Mark 2. Daisy chain those down the middle. One of my belts is not worth me connecting up. That's the first 5. On the outside. But I may as well just connect it all up, because if anything I can just put that into either a resource sink or storage box. So now we start connecting the start of the screws production. And there's 20 constructors. Slight bit of anxiety that they'll overload my power grid. Right. Let's just make that so it's not just purely floating. Although, and I'm not going to make any kind of assertion that I'm a civil engineer here. That big span of concrete if you've got spaceships, you might have strong enough reinforcement for that concrete to work without a pillar in the middle to support it. I try not to make stuff that's too absurd, but I'm also not gonna pretend that I would know how to do it any better than that. So we are now kind of starved on resource. We need more rods to come in. We're starting to see screws build up. And really, that's pretty much it. This factory now just needs some time to run. And you can see from the green and yellow lights on top of it that they're all powered. Yellow basically means either starved of resources or the output is full and it can't do anything with it. But that is, apart from the fact that I've got scope to expand it as I get better belts, better miners, etc., better building parts. That is pretty much it, ready to run. I've got to work out how to get the output out of it. That's the only thing I haven't yet done. An elegant way of getting the potentially 6 products, because I'll end up with a slight overflow of plates, rods and screws, plus the 3 products of reinforced iron plates, modular frames and rotors. All of that, so there's 6 different things that basically need to find their way back to a storage facility of sorts. But you know what this means now? Now what's my power looking like? My max is still well below my current production, so that's fine. Until I start hitting higher. Yeah, actually, no, that's fine. Until I get fast enough to put more smelters in, that's as much as it's going to produce. But do you know what that means now? What that means now is that all of this spaghetti can just be deleted. Because I've got the equivalent being produced in this factory now. Should we do that? That's a worthwhile task. That's something that I've been looking forward to doing since I started building. Like I've said, you can't really avoid early game spaghetti. You just can't. Yeah, what I want to do to start with is turn off the miners. So delete the power supply to the miners. They won't produce any more ore. But I don't want to end up with my bag full of ore and ingots. So having removed the power from the source, I'll let this drain through, and then when it's finished everything it can, all of the ore and all the ingots have been consumed, I'll just delete it. But I'll let that run for a little bit again then. And there we have a kind of a monstrosity of a big old box factory. Mr. Bean's right underneath me. It is a bit of fun. Mr. Bean is a big bouncy castle. Silly bit of fun, but there you go. Right, okay. While that's all running, and that is, yeah, I've got to get the output brought back. I might just do a like a bus of belts on the outside of the factory, but maybe still underneath a cover. Not sure yet. But I'll get all of that stuff belted back and have some storage here. While that's running though, let's unlock some more stuff. Because we've done the iron. We're going to have to get some more hard disks. That's a bit of a thing. I might have to do another exploration episode a bit earlier than I intended. But let's unlock some more. Oh. That one needs more rods. How many more rods have I got over here? Because this has been one of my problems, is I've started running out of my original supply. There we go, I've got plenty of those. Let's get that one sent off.
Milestone reached. Long-range transportation, as well as the construction of outposts, is now encouraged. Vehicle stations have built-in functionality to refuel and restock or collect parts.
There goes the pod. And vehicle outposts is what she was just talking about then. So there's a couple of things we can now make that we've unlocked there. One of which is a rather nifty little truck. Now, I can drive it. I can open a workbench and put fuel in it. It'll run on biofuel, it'll run on coal, it'll also run on oil-based fuel, which I haven't unlocked yet. But you can also store, as a storage box, 25 slots of goods that you can store in there. And then, once you've put some fuel in there, you can also then drive it around. And that's a little view of the Pioneer sat in the back with a light on her hat. Because all of the characters in this game are female. So my Pioneer is that lady with the orange hat on. I say lady, she's still an outlay. So that's a truck that you can drive around. You get faster trucks, you get bigger trucks, but that's the first one. But probably just as importantly, you can see in the bottom middle of the screen there's a record menu. You can automate, so you can drive, you can set this to drive between 2 points, load cargo at one, drop cargo off at another. So that's one of the things you can do. It's a bit of fun. We'll just dismantle that again. And then, and related to that is you can build this big old truck station building that you supply fuel to it, and then the truck, this is a destination or source of where the pathing for the truck will run. So we've just unlocked trucks. We're going to wait on the thing to come back. It's another minute and a half, but let's see what we'll unlock next. Now we're going to unlock basic steel. So that needs more rotors, of which I have loads. Let's just grab a couple more of these as well. Oh, I had loads of those. Can't put them in yet, but when the thing comes back, we've now got enough. And that would be tier 3 complete. Apart from alt recipes. I've got to run around and get more hard drives. I didn't really want to do another exploration episode already, but I need to do it. Come on then, 40 seconds. How am I doing for draining these down? Right, so that one can go. That one can go. The splitters on the way in can go. But the smelters need to stay because they're still producing ingots from the ore that they've got in stock. Fine. And my drone is just back. Hey Bean, what are you doing in the middle of my base, mate? You look a bit unelegant. Active milestone. Now I can start depositing the goods. Next one. This is the big one.
Milestone reached. Steel production unlocked. Foundry grants access to new, simple steel parts. An additional project part can now be constructed. Progress to the next phase is now possible.
Right, 7.5 minutes till that comes back. We've now unlocked the ability to make steel. That's a big deal. So we get a variant of a smelter now, or a foundry. I need more modular frames to make one. I've just used loads of modular frames. I should have some being built, shouldn't I? Let's build another 5. There we go. So a foundry is just like a smelter, but it's got two inputs. And can make a steel ingot, which is iron plus coal. There are some alt recipes for that I want. But for now, so I'm not using these iron nodes anymore. And there is coal up there, but I'm using it for my power station. So I need to find another spot. And I happen to have found, when I was doing my exploration the other day, over here, in the direction of the end of this factory, there is a coal node that's pure in about that direction. There you go, 418 meters in that direction there's coal. And I also know that in basically the same direction, but there, 200 and something meters there's a couple of iron nodes. And there's also more iron over here that I'm not using yet. But here, there's copper there as well, but that's for another day. So I'm going to build a steelworks over in that general vicinity. Probably start that in the next episode. Well, I'll probably need to do, I do need to go and do exploration. What else could we unlock? So we've finished tier 3. Tier 4. You need steel pipe to unlock that one. You need steel pipe to unlock that one. You need steel beams to unlock that one. You need steel beams and pipe to unlock that one. So before I can progress to tier 4 really, I need to be making steel items. How much have you got? Still got loads of... Oh, it's got a... Okay. Yeah, it's just about run out of ore. But the smelter's fairly soon. That one's empty. Tidying this place up a bit. That one empty? No. Still going. So yeah, I'm just going to leave this running for a bit. But in the meantime, I think I'm just going to wrap this episode here. The factory's operational. It just needs me to unlock some more stuff and build some steel so that I can scale it up to its capacity or its potential for the current tier that I'm on. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. But in the meantime, thanks and goodbye.